Welcome back. You're still tuned into Power Breakfast, and now we have our research team joining in to tell you what the trade setup looks like, the stocks that are likely to be in the news, and the action from the F&O space as well. Hey guys, a very good morning to all of you. Let me come across to you first up. What is the market setup looking like today?
Morning, Sonal, and it was a pretty average, underwhelming day, if I can call it that, considering the last week full of adrenaline rush that we had. But the Nifty, as the setup suggests, is that the benchmark higher levels. It made a new high yesterday. The Nifty crossed 23,400 on an intraday basis but failed to sustain above that, ended 150 points lower from those levels and even closed 300. So now that becomes the first level to cross for the index before it can retest its previous record, which is 23,400, which it made yesterday. The Nifty Bank also faced similar resistance above the levels of 50,000. It closed below that level. So keep an eye out on the Nifty Bank as well and that level of 50,000 where it is facing some resistance. The mid cap index also ended flat yesterday, but the outperformance though came from the small cap index, and that was the one that ended with gains of over 1% in yesterday's trading session, even as the rest of the indices ended flat. To keep an eye out on the VIX as well, and as most of the market participants were suggesting, after the election event is out of the way, the VIX will start cooling off, and that has almost halved now from the highs that it made of around 31. It's now back to around 16 is the VIX. So we'll see if there is a further cool off there as well. The sectors that did well though yesterday: pharma, PSU banks were outperformers, real estate was an outperformer yesterday, and we had mentioned yesterday to watch out for IT, considering the outperformance that it saw last week, and that was the biggest sectoral laggard in yesterday's session, with most of the stocks ending lower, putting pressure, seeing profit booking after the jobs data that came out from the US. It is a day of block deals. We saw one yesterday in Emphasis. That continues today as well. IRB Infra, Indigo, Honasa will see block deals. The US markets ended mostly in the positive side. The S&P 500, Nasdaq made a record high. FOMC meeting begins today. The GIFT Nifty is indicating a flat start for our own markets. Back to you.
Okay, thank you so much for that, Hormaz. Average adrenal rush. I think we have to deal with everything equally, right? But thank you so much for all those cues. Now over to Vamakshi. She will list out all the stocks to watch out for in today's trading session. Vamakshi?
Well, good morning, Sonal. Let me first start off with IRB Infra. This counter will be in focus because sources suggest that Sintra, who holds nearly 25% stake in the company as at the end of Q4, is likely to sell 5% stake in the company. The deal price is expected to be between 63 per share to 70.16 per share, and the deal size is expected to be around 1,900 crores at the lower end. Indigo also on our radar. Sources again suggest that Bhatia family unit Interglobe Enterprises is likely to sell nearly 2% stake in company via block deals. The block deal could be worth 3,300 crores, and the base price is expected to be at 4,266 per share. RVNL, Siemens RVNL Consortium gets an LOA for Bangalore Metro Rail Corp project worth almost 394 crores, and additionally RVNL has emerged as the lowest bidder for a central railway project worth 139 crores. JBM Auto, the arm, had signed an MOU with MUON India, which is a Macquarie Group company, to deploy over 2,000 e-buses. In the past, they managed to deliver 43 out of those buses as on June 10th. NLC India is expected to raise foreign currency up to 600 million via ECBs, and they will be investing it around 995 crores in ARM NLC India Renewables. Vodafone Idea will be considering issuance of preferential shares on June 13th to vendors. Jubilant Foodworks, Domino's Pizza has crossed the 2,000 store mark in India, and it is the first QSR in India to achieve this milestone, and the company says that they're expecting to add 180 stores of Domino's in the current financial year. KIOCL is also on our radar. They've halted operations of pellet plant unit in Mangalore due to ongoing downward trend in pellet market. And lastly, let's also focus in on PTC Industries. They've joined an SPV as a part of government's Make in India drive for defense as well as the aerospace sector.
Okay, that's a long list, but thank you so much, Amakshi, for getting us up to speed with that. Finally, let me go across to Mangalam. He's joining in with all the cues from the F&O space. Hey, Mangalam.
Good morning. So we're back to regular programming as far as the markets are concerned. So we saw, a range-bound move in yesterday's trading session after hitting a record high of around 23,412 yesterday. The Nifty tested lows of 23,227 as well. So it was meandering in this 200-point band itself. The reason why it failed to sustain at highs, the first reason was the IT index coming off. Not so good news coming in terms of jobs data led the IT stocks lower by almost 2% for the index, and the Nifty Bank failing to sustain above that 50,000 mark. We've been talking about the psychological impact importance of closing above 50,000, and that's exactly what played out yesterday as well. Though there was no concerns as far as the flows are concerned, both FIIs and DIIs bought in the cash market, net flows of over 5,200 crores, and the FII covering of shorts continues in index futures as well. 3,000 crore worth purchase yesterday, with 16,000 long contracts being added and nearly 32,000 short contracts being covered as well. So as a result of which, in just the last 5 sessions, FII longs have doubled in terms of exposure from 17% to 34%, still net short, but the net short has come down from 3 lakh contracts to about 1,43,000 contracts itself. It's a Tuesday, which means it's also Fin Nifty weekly options expiry. But the option writers on the Nifty are writing the 23,400 and 23,500 calls. And also at the lower level, we are seeing the 23,300 put being written. So if you look at all the premiums and open interest out there, in simple terms, it expects that option writers are playing for a range of 23,100 at the lower level to around 23,550 at the upper level itself. Importantly, cement stocks are in focus. We are seeing a lot of long positions being added on Ramco Cements, but yesterday India Cements entered the F&O ban, as we had pointed out earlier as well.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much, Mangalam, Hormaz and Vamakshi, for joining us and prepping us up for this trading day ahead.